Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the canyon. Welcome back to what I hope is rectifying a mistake, which is a pattern of neglect which has occurred here to a particular member of the fleet who is, in his appearance, inarguably one of the canyon favorites, but he combines a number of things that are, I don't know if I would explicitly say counter, but they perhaps don't mesh the best with, like, I don't know. Well, let's say how I drive, my driving style. We have a very detailed hard body. We have leaf springs. We've got tiny tires. There's a lot going on that, I don't know. I am, energy conserving by nature, so I will pick the easier route. And after the recent episodes with the Rock Hobby / FMS 1941 Willys MB, the scaler, and that there were multiple bogeys inbound, and they all collided at one point. One was how much I loved driving the Jeep, the 41 Willys. It's a blast. It's an absolute blast. It's not leaf spring, and it should be. The other was too many comments claiming, oh, that's not a crawler, nor would they ever claim that it is. And I'm like, what? You know what's not a crawler? An 8th scale buggy with fluid-filled differentials and independent suspension at every corner, designed to fly high into the air and land at great speed. The 1941 Willys, okay. So let's do a cross comparison here between our buddy here, born as a Marlin, an RC 4-wheel drive Trailfinder 2. Yes, indeed, there are some little spots where the red is peeking through, where the red body was painted. And I did get one of my favorite comments that I ever got on any video with Old Blue in it was a comment that said, "You ruined a Marlin." And I well, truly, and honestly do love that sort of a comment. So what we did is, okay, we need to make a cross comparison between a Trailfinder 2, which is inarguably a crawler, and the 1941 Willys MB from Rock Hobby, which several people have tried, in my mind, fruitlessly to make an argument that it is not a rock crawler. This has 4 tires and locked differentials, just like the Willys. This has the motor in a very forward position and a chassis-mounted servo, just like the Willys. The Willys, pardon me, that's part of. The Willys has the advantage of a 3-link front and a 4-link rear. This has neither of those. This has leaf springs front and rear, which no one would argue is an advantage. It has a gearbox with a divorced transfer case. The Willys has a gearbox with a divorced transfer case. This shares far more in common with the Rock Hobby Willys than it does with this, which is a rock crawler, 4-link front and rear. So if this is a rock crawler, well, I mean, here's what it comes down to. I know people have taken Traxxas Summits and spooled the diffs and used those. Guess what? It isn't what it is based on what it says on the side of the box. It is what it is by what you make of it. And I haven't made enough of this. I haven't given it its fair due as a rock crawler, mostly out of an excess of caution, I guess we could classify it as. I don't want to break it. And then I stopped and I thought, well, when has that stopped you before? Like, I don't take any of the other rigs out there with the worry of, oh no, I'm going to break it. We have made to this a Canyon change over time. There was a head-to-head test where he that day lost his. They're up here on the rack somewhere, I think. Lost his original RC four-wheel drive tires in favor of these J-Concepts Bounty Hunters, because from the comments someone said, "Hey, put the Bounty Hunters on Old Blue," and I did, and they are significantly better than the little baby 1.7 Swampers, which I don't know where they are. I thought they were up on the rack. They're not. I would like to test these on him just because the size looks so good, but they are pit bull rock beasts, and we have not had tremendously good fortune with them. And I feel like I can't just slap them on there right now willy-nilly, as these have been driven around on the floor in the shop, and when he got his own set, they've never been outside. So they are the first element of the Canyon change. Perhaps the most important, who knows, second element, and that one might be perhaps the most important, is I can't figure out what wizardry RC four-wheel drive employed. This is cast aluminum, and it's so light that, where's my Comparo? This is an Element axle housing with nothing in it. It's made out of fiber reinforced plastic. This weighs 25 grams and this weighs 30. So they've somehow got a metal axle to the approximate weight of a plastic axle. That has been replaced mere moments ago. This is the housing and knuckles from, I just tried to turn that and it's energized. Brought to us from the good folks at SSD, and there should be an image that shows the axle housing and knuckles at 68 grams of the stock pieces. These three pieces right here, all cast aluminum, replaced in favor of these SSD pieces, which weigh 238 grams. So if there's a place on this that we wanted to add weight, it's right there, and we've done that. That, of course, went together absolutely flawlessly. The fitment is perfect, and we figured if we're doing it, we're going to do it. We had to take a bunch of stuff off to get the axle on there, and these were the included inner fenders that came with the kit. This one, the front tab had already snapped off. It was cracking the rest of the way. Right in here from the mold at RC four-wheel drive, we can probably get a pincher on there. Half a millimeter, which is in inches 0.21. 0.40 is about kind of as low as you want to go. Like, I know there are sedan bodies out there that are 0.20 and 0.30, but that is far too thin. I don't have anything Lexan that I could meter for you. Oh, I do. Here's the piece that was cut out of a fender for the Proline Bug. They call it 0.40, and by gum and by golly, it's 0.40. So one of these had split all the way through, and it was just kind of banging around. So we got rid of those. We have gone up in weight. We figured while we're at it, while we have this taken apart, and we found a potential reason. One of the replacements was not scheduled, and that is these are Element SE shocks with no springs on them. So they may be a little under damped for the rate of the Leafs. We're going to find out. If it's under damped, that's not a problem. It's not difficult to add some, particularly these rears. You can remove them without doing anything to the vehicle. The fronts are mounted upside down for clearance issues because the hoop of this is designed around a much smaller shock. They feel pretty good. I mean, honestly, I think what I had thought was happening was that the shocks that I was using were not just overdamped, but as it turns out, this one is violently bent. This is dead. It will indeed get all the way. I mean, that's not going to help. So when I put these on, the rear started to feel really fluid. If it's underdamped, we'll know, but from the experience driving the Jeep, which had on its factory shocks had effectively no damping at all, none. It was so fun because it kind of wobble. So I want to find that sweet spot of like just enough damping control so that the leafs aren't shooting back down. And I think we might be there. They do indeed shoot back down if there is no damper fitted. Not a shock, but a damper. So we get next to no settle when we set the front down. If you look very closely, it will settle about 2 millimeters, and the rear, I would say about the same, between 2 and 3 millimeters. That again is on me. I don't think I've driven the rig enough to break it in so that there's 2 leafs in the front and 2 leafs in the rear, and it still feels very stiff. So I figured now is the perfect time to grab one of the. I have a nest of Fusions over here. There was previously an Injora 540 45 turn paired to a Hobby Wing 1080 G2, and they were functional but didn't precisely spark any joy. So in this vehicle, at its weight, with its body and the fact that we have solid rails and it's just mostly metal, there's very little plastic involved in this vehicle. The additional drag brake that we're going to get from a Fusion SE 1200 paired with the outstanding amount of control. I went up a tooth. I went up a number of teeth, as a matter of fact. I was running a 10. I wanted to go up to a 12 and dig the bins. I can't find a 12. So I put in a 13. And it's not as if we have there isn't a surplus of wheel speed. It's just very quiet and very smooth. And it is getting its due. I don't feel like I was giving Old Blue, the Trailfinder 2, his due. Because a rock crawler is a rock crawler, and we need to embrace the differences, man. We can't just build, they can't all be 4-link servo on axle truggies with dig and 4-wheel steer and all sorts of fancy bells and whistles. We need Old Blue. So, but what we need more than that is we need to take Old Blue out there into a beautiful afternoon and just drive him around. Just drive him around. Not with the goal of enhancing performance. If we make no future changes to him moving forward, I would be okay with that. I do want him to test those tires. We might throw that in there. I mean, I don't know how much. I could do a direct back-to-back comparison, but I don't know how in-depth of a quick view I can do of a 155 Rock Beast versus a 19393 Bounty Hunter. I mean, the vehicle is the limitation. I don't think the tire is explicitly the limitation. Although I could just do them back-to-back. Well, just, you know what? That's enough of the hemming and hawing. I 100% agree. We are just going to... I mounted them up. We went through the work. We're just going to throw them in the bag. We're going to put the tire wrench in there with it. And you know what? We'll do a little of each. Because what a guy. What a guy. And I mean, every time. I mean, what I get is everybody's favorite bodies are the two that I didn't paint. The body on Lolo from Mr. Knudsen on Instagram, and the body on Rattlecat, which I also didn't paint. And then everybody's favorite rig is this one, because this one looks like a Toyota pickup, because it is a Toyota pickup. I mean, it's not licensed, but it should say Toyota in big letters across the tailgate. Everybody looks at this and they go, that's just a truck. Like, it's not a Wasp Spider hybrid. Its proportions aren't all weird. It's a Toyota pickup. So, we got to get this guy into the mix more, because he's a great looking fella, and I'm being lazy. I'm being lazy and not learning to drive to the limitations of this guy. So today, at least, we're going to make some small effort to rectify that, and we're going to do it it's probably about 80 feet that way. So let us all see then what our canyon change has netted us. And I can tell you this, it feels radically different. Radically. Yeah, we made some definite changes. Power plant, that weighted axle housing, better tires, the non-bent shock might be that might repair physical damage. That might be the biggest change of the day. It's right here. This is the thing that I'm having an intense inability to overcome. That being, I want to turn down inside of the big rock at the top, and my brain goes, "Don't do it. Don't do it. You're gonna roll away, and the body's gonna fly off, and you'll be sad." The rear end feels much better. Oh, look at that. But the front is still quite stiff, and I have to assume that's break-in. Getting some real angle there. Yeah, okay. That was probably completely out of frame to everyone, but the little corner holding ability right there, this is drivable. We have that limitation in the flex brought about by the lease. Oh, okay, right here. Let's get it. There we go. Look at this. That is certainly the most that I have seen in flex out of this vehicle, period. So I didn't even pay attention when I was servicing the vehicle. I had pulled all 4 shocks off because the rear shocks were very cakey. There was a lot of dirt caked on the oil that had leaked out. So they were just sitting in a pile. And then when I was cleaning them off to put them back on, I noticed the effectively destroyed one. Ooh. Yeah. Fusion, typically you'll go, I want to say drag brake at 6 and drag brake rate at, or is it, no, drag brake at 5 and rate at 6. So halfway. Whereas this guy with the 1080 and just a plain Jane low buck 543 slot was maxed out on rate and drag brake. So this makes it a little more pleasant to drive all around, not just because of the electronic anchor function of the Fusion, but because we don't have the rate and the drag brake force dialed all the way up, it's a little soft. There's a little bit of a ramp down as drag brake engages. So when you're descending like this and you let off the throttle, it doesn't just boom, it doesn't just stop. It kind of glides into it. You effectively, and this isn't an option in a lot of situations, I do understand, but we basically want to set the drag brake force and the drag brake rate as low as possible. The lowest number that still works is the number you want, because that's going to make the overall driving experience a lot smoother. I mean, it still flexes like a skateboard. I can't get enough cross weight to orient itself. Like the rear axle, to me, it's compressed up a little bit, but it's more rigid than not. The bounty hunters are excellent. And here's the problem with that. I do want to try those pit bulls, but my previous experience with pit bulls leaves me a little wary. So I just want to hit a little bit of stuff that, you know, non-rock crawler stuff, you know. Because apparently a hard body makes it not a rock crawler. Now, damping control right here. This is where a 3/4 link would set down. That was a delightfully speed reduced clump, clump, clump. It's not what I was looking for outright, but I mean, I get it. I get it. The first couple times I drove him, and admittedly, I hadn't outfitted him in a way that was suitable. Like, you got to put a little more at it. I wanted to get away with just a 1080 and a spare servo and, you know, whatever. We don't want to invest too much, right? You kind of have to, because the performance isn't, let's say it isn't built in. Oh, that was really nice right there. So, okay. There may indeed be a little bit of an underdamping situation because that kind of popped loose. But then again, I don't know. The leaves still feel quite stiff. I think the only way we're going to de-stiff those is more of this. Yeah, bounty hunters are inexplicably good. I mean, I think compared to all others, I'm not sure that there's a tire that exhibits how good J-Concept's green is more visibly than the bounty hunter. It is a light truck. It is a radial road-looking tire and will just climb. There's virtually no spacing between the lugs. It's almost like a siped slick, honestly, in how tight the tread is. And right here, this is where we are bearing witness to the, well, what are we about, 170 additional grams in the front axle compared to what it is before. It is really keeping that front end down to the point where sometimes when we get up here in the high grass, it just falls through. It is unquestionably, we are unquestionably into the territory of net some good, because I wouldn't even consider this a rig of limited capability anymore. It's just good. I saw that leaf flexing like crazy right there. Also, here's a question to the leaf spring people. As I am a 4-link man, so for the most part, I don't know what I'm doing. Is there a degree of tightness to which you are supposed to tighten your leafs down to the perches on the axle? Do you just tighten them down all the way? Are they supposed to float? Because I'm watching that link, I'm watching that rear leaf twist. Is that just part of the experience? Should I have like an O-ring on there so that I don't run that screw bottomed out? I don't know. I don't know. So someone help me out with that. Let's just go wherever. Should be able to pass. If we can make the entries and the exits, we should have no problem in any of these gates, because this guy is skinny. I figure, why not? Whoa. Whoa. Oh, that is so much better. We are so much better. Okay, here's one. Let's just line up to one. There we go. Through two. There's no way we're going to be able to cut back to three. The turning angle on these are not. It's not the most amazing turn angle, but coming through three and going towards four. Little hang up there. Oh, there's that little edge. Okay, we're almost through. There we go. And I think the way this thing is, oh, so skinny. See if he can clear that bumper over right there. Got his headlight kind of augured in there. Come down. Oh. We need a bit more flex for this. Or do we? The placement of that guy right there, we need a big beast of a vehicle to come through here and unseat that rock, because it is the perfect height that I cannot get the 393 over it. But we do not give up. That gate doesn't count. We already made it through that. And I know, I said what I said, and I know I said what I meant, and I meant what I said, that I'm like, we're just gonna come out, we're gonna tool around. To me, this is kind of tooling around, because you can't really get a really accurate indication of what a tire or what a change is doing until you force the rig to do something very specific, like pass through a gate. So what if we had come around onto the flat? That's tailgate. Angry ABS noises. Okay. Nope. That's too lined up. Nope. Back a little. Back a little bit. Slippers a little, is potentially a hair loose, but not too bad. Gate 4 is a problem for this fella. His clearance, not the tire. Look at that. Oh, that's quite good, honestly. And he has rolled the wheels more than once today. In between those rollovers, we're definitely establishing some patina today. What? Okay, what is hanging up? Oh, I see it now. This is a mental change for me, because I'm not used to this little. How did I not knock that upper one off? I could not see it at all. I am not used to this little ground clearance. I'm not used to this little flex. Any unsprung weight we add is going to be advantageous. And that front axle housing, which if I neglected to mention inside, and I most likely did, was provided courtesy of long-term channel supporter and member Miata Commuter, who was the one that connived, cajoled, and I was looking for, I really like that alliteration, connived, cajoled, convinced to get a leaf spring rig. I had mentioned in the past I had, look at that, he grabbed it, he dropped it. I had the G-Mate, sawback. I had a sawback in my tell me when it's in stock on A-Main for at least a year. Because I thought, I'll try leaf springs, but with Lexan. Because, you know, we'll try going halfway. Look at that little, that's genuine suspension action right there. And they were like, no, you gotta go for the real deal. you gotta get yourself a Marlin. And I'm not mad. This is great. I mean, I get it. I get the Class 1 thing. I don't think I can embrace it to the same degree that like the real the real Lars Newt bars that are all Class 1. Look at that. There's flex. We've got, ladies and gentlemen, we have flex. But I definitely get the appeal. The scale look of it, again, hearkening back to the MB Willies, we forgive or we embrace the difficulties, the lack of performance. And that blow is softened by the fact that, just look at it. It looks so good. Let's put some very shiny wheels on it with some pit bulls, and I will be able to tell you almost instantly if it's better or worse. Or just the same. Just the same, I guess, is an option. So, never one to fake the funk on a nasty dunk. I gotta say, going from a 393 on a 1.9 to a 385 on a 155, yeah, it looks better. Those look more, at least to me, they look more to scale. Now, we're not talking about a huge loss of vertical, but we are talking about some loss of vertical. And I fear, yeah, that little glide to the side. This is a pocket, quick view, comp, and alien. The two compounds from Pitbull. And none of them have ever done remarkably well here. Well, the wheels are too shiny, for one thing, but man, that is not a bad look. That definitely looks more scale. Although I think the amount of that descent felt great. That descent was up there with the J Concepts. Come across here. These are both the J Concepts, and these are on their factory single stage foams. I was expecting to feel a little bit more rollout from these foams than I am, because we were talking a good bit less rim and a good bit more tire. Oh, that axle was doing the work right there. That's really nice. Yeah, you know what? Because we're operating in a situation where our limitation comes from the genetics of the vehicle. Leaf springs, hard body, not a ton of steer angle. It doesn't have all the bells nor the whistles of something, say, Class 2. We can focus a little bit more on the tire itself. Yeah, these feel every bit as planted. Well, okay, maybe not every bit. 95%. They feel very close. Let's see if we can just go at it. Little slide there, but good positionability. Can pull that back. Can't quite manage. Ooh, can you do it? Can you do it? Get that pumpkin clear. It's really close. It's really close. Whatever the numeric score I would give let's just make up a number. Let's make up a number. Let us say that the bounty hunter on this day on this vehicle would score, let's say it scored a 95. These would be like a 93.8. 93.6 to 93.8. We're talking that 1.2 points, 1.2 to 1.4 points lower. And that we might be able to chalk up to narrower width, shorter vertical, but for what is in my memory the first time ever a alien compound tire from Pitbull is doing really well, really well. It's very easy to hang this guy up. Now, yeah, the height differential, that felt good. The hang-ups in the middle, I have to assume, and then right there, we couldn't stand it up and get that corner standing because the tire would just kind of slip away on the other side. The thing is, the temptation, let me bring you inside. The temptation to just leave this wheel and tire combo on here is extraordinarily high because I think they look better. And we're talking a point. Yeah, that's good. These are good. Now, without Googling it, I can tell already that these are probably very expensive. And this would 100% be a sacrifice for vanity. We're going to reset. We're going to do one more reset. We're going to go back over to those first 5 gates over at the back 9. And I'm just going to run it back to back. It'll be like a vehicle versus a vehicle, only it's a tire versus a tire. And I just want to see. I want to see apples to apples. Well, it wouldn't have been complete if we hadn't gotten one body shuck in, but it still pains me so. And our hope is that the second verse is not much different than the first. If those wheels were just less shiny, what a thing that would be. You want to talk about placebo effect in turbo, in stereo vision. I feel like out on the flat ground, I should try turning this in a lot sooner. Let's see, we've already now. He doesn't have the steer angle to do the pull between 2 and 3. That's a pinstriper there. Yeah, and through 3, no problem. Let's try that same. When I came at the right hand angle here. We'll try both. Okay, no, let's try both. We'll come up around this side past 3, and we'll see if we can't. Okay, I couldn't get that around last time because we would get bound up right here, just a point of the bumper. There is a 1-inch wide strip of land where I can try to get up over this right there. There is the narrowest of potentials that I can get that tire to breach up over that point without hitting the ball on the high side. And then look, will he manage? No. We're gonna clear both. We're gonna knock both off. I feel like this is a situation where I think our PSI is low enough that I genuinely think that the additional sidewall, trading out sidewall for tire, it's the opposite of what we would expect, like in a Class 2 situation. Oh, I can't believe that touched. This feels 1.2 points lower. But in some, the sliders didn't all move evenly. Some things got better. So let me do just one more. Bear with me for one more. I'm humming. Okay, I want to try something here. I want to bring it around. I want to come around this way. See if we can get up here without falling off. That's okay. Wow. That was some magic right there. That 2-ball went inside the tire. Okay, keep that up over. Excellent. Nice. Okay. We tried high side and we're more successful. We tried high side and we're more successful on this tire than we were on the Bounty Hunters. Now we tried on the low side. The amount of scarring on that front housing already. That pull up right there, we get right here and then and watch that rear go. That is a positive, an almost immeasurable positive for the Rock Beast. I didn't turn in soon enough. Can you get up over that, or are we going to go full slipper there? I think what we have, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. We're not going to try to cut high side or low side. We're going to try to cut high side. Look at that pull right there. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Okay, we're binding slipper again. Oh yeah, nice. Wrap it back around. Okay. Let me summarize thusly, and as we talk it out, as we Midwest it, I will after that we'll put some B-roll over this. That sounds good? Good. Sounds good. I prefer in this application the Rock Beast, and let me elaborate. This is class 0, right? Under 393 is class 0. I don't know about the classes. We don't run classes here in the canyon, but if you're under 419, or is it under 393? Is class 1 393 to 419? Somebody just say yes or no. Don't go in depth into explaining the rules to me. But to my knowledge of it, this is a class 0 tire. Now, you know if you need a class 0 tire. I don't think it is within my strength to review a class 0 tire. I just know that in this application, on this beautiful gentleman right here, I prefer this over the Bounty Hunter, and I preferred the Bounty Hunter wildly over the stock IROC Swamper tire. This is, it doesn't have quite the same amount of lateral stability. It doesn't have quite the same amount of forward drive, but it's very, very close. And above that, on top of that, and beyond that, it looks amazing, outstanding. I will. You want to hear some laziness? I'll give you some laziness. I just had this idea sitting here right now. I'm going to take my laser machine. I am going to measure the size of the circles of the beadlock rings. I am going to cut myself little lasered out rings and that are cut out of squares. I'm painting a picture with my finger here. And I'm going to make basically paint masks so that I can airbrush those wheels up and dirty them up a little without having to dismount them from the wheels, because these are indeed RC four-wheel drive beadlocks. There are no screws on the back of the wheel. The entire thing is held together by the outer ring and all of those scale hardware screws. So if I want to take those tires off of the rims to paint the rims as I normally would, I have to take out the however many there are, 20, 16, 18, 20, 24, and scale hardware screws. I don't want to do that. So I am going to make a mask board so that I can paint them in place. And as I think about that now, I'm like, you should just do this for like a lot of wheels. Would make a lot easier to patina up wheels. And I don't patina up wheels traditionally because I'm lazy. So would I, in a review, in a head-to-head, straight up, side by side, do I put these rock beasts above the Bounty Hunter? No. I find the Bounty Hunter to be a lot more versatile. In the 393s, it's unbelievable how good they are. They are every bit as good as a 393 Tusk, which is wild. But these, for this application, if you're building a trail finder, these look unbelievably, and they work very nearly as well as the Bounty Hunters. And that's not a thing. That's not a thing that we've experienced because the pit bull compounds have historically not been successful here. They did really well here today. I think we did really well here today. I am so glad that I got him down out of his garage and brought him around for a little bit of wheeling. What a lovely day. And had we not just, it was never in the plan to grab these tires and test them. I was looking for his 1.7s and couldn't find them. Will that get over? Will that get over? Look at that. There is decidedly a maneuverability. The slipper is just getting looser and looser. And I think that's because this thing is used to a $13 540, and now it's got fusion power coursing through its veins. This guy right here, we got that one, but I'm going to complete the thought and I'm going to stand by it. This guy has got the soft touch because you can maul the balls and not knock them off their perches. Real good. Real good. He's staying with these. He's going to rock these 155s. We will certainly find a home for those bounty hunters. We need to build the Evil Twin at some point. We're supposed to build the AR-45 axled companion to Rusty. And what was it that stopped it from happening before? Something didn't work with the gearbox. Something didn't fit. So we ended up building another rig entirely. We'll get that Evil Twin built. We'll get it. We'll get there. We'll get there. So when we get there, I hope that you tune in. I hope you join us. I hope you follow us along for the journey. I hope that in between now and when we meet again, you one and all do your very best to have a good one, everybody. I'm gonna have to, as a woman from Texas has said so ever so many times, I'm gonna have to let you go. We had a lovely time. Has it not? I know that the mic is very good at isolating a lot of it, but my neighbor sounds like he is having his best day right now because that tractor has been going all day. Thanks so much for watching. Tune in for whatever comes next. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again from real soon here from the canyon.